No one gave you a body manual. We're born with the capacity to experience emotion. In fact, without emotion, we cannot survive. Yet, nobody actually gives us the manual for how to deal with those emotions on the body level. As a result, many of us end up storing emotions in our bodies, avoiding them, escaping them in any way we can, until the body says no. But how do people learn about handling emotions in the first place? We learn from our caregivers. We learn from our environment. When emotions arise, it is the adults that help contain the intensity, bring clarity, and meaning to the experience. It is the grown-ups that aid the child in processing her feelings. Over time, children go from emotional co-regulation to emotional self-regulation. But what if our parents and caregivers didn't show up in a way that was helpful for our emotional needs? What if they were not predictable, consistent, and attuned? What if they got overwhelmed by our emotions, or worse, used them against us? What happens is we never get the body manual for how to be with our emotions. And on top of that, we learn to suppress and avoid our emotions. We also learn to live with overwhelming amounts of rigidity, over-control, and fear, which can manifest as anxiety, psychophysiological symptoms, and often illness. This is the inner landscape in which addictions, disordered eating, and compulsive and excessive behaviors thrive. When you arrive to adulthood with a system that tends towards always being vigilant and filled with unpleasant emotions, it can be hard to let down, relax, recover, and do self-care. In fact, this internal distress can become a habitual state, and anything different, anything positive, can feel like a threat. Because there is no blueprint for the positive, we think we want it, but the biology is organized against it. This is super hard on the body. Just think of this. When you're scared, you're also scared of being scared. When you're in pain, you're in fear of being in pain. And feeling good is just as scary. Yet, all you want is relief. If you have been getting this relief with food, alcohol, shopping, porn, you're not alone. The world is full of those of us who didn't get the manual from our caregivers, who don't know how to handle the overwhelm, and rightfully so, because nobody modeled it and nobody taught you. There are 3 major issues that arise out of taking off the edge with food, alcohol, or anything else. 1. Emotions arise for a reason. When you don't host them and digest them, you never actually get to change your behavior or environment. This keeps the emotions spinning in the background and keeps you stuck, feeling like the life you're living isn't your life. What's worse, if you're in a bad situation at work or at home, it's almost impossible to get out. 2. When you suppress emotions with food or substances, you teach the biology that you need to feel bad first and then you get to feel better. The addiction is not to the relief, but to the pain. Your body never gets a chance to learn what it's like to feel good without suffering first. And what did we say above? Sometimes there is no blueprint for feeling good, so we end up reinforcing the cycles of pain and release, never actually feeling joy, satisfaction, comfort, or pleasure. 3. When we suppress or avoid emotions, it eventually takes a toll on our health. The biology can't tolerate distress forever. Once the dominoes start to fall and we end up dealing with metabolic or immune issues, we also begin to lose trust in the goodness of the body. And once again, we get to the self-fulfilling prophecy that things are bad and perhaps the whole universe is against us. We can end up believing that good things are for others or that we don't deserve. What is tragic is that the more pain we're in, the less clear our thoughts are, and the harder it is to get out of suffering. Yet, there is a way out, and it's gentle. To those of you who, like me, arrived to adulthood overwhelmed by a tumultuous inner world and a body that is suffering, I want to assure you, you don't have to live like this, and you can change and organize your nervous system for the better. Even if you weren't given a body manual, you can create one as an adult. Instead of feeling bad or blaming yourself for what you inherited, you can recognize that you were born into a specific environment, and that environment may not have given you the foundation you needed to arrive to adulthood equipped with a body manual with helpful instructions. And so, my wish for you is that you see this clearly and you begin to set yourself free. Let's start today with these reminders. First, it's not your fault. Second, you've done the best you can. Third, you aren't in charge of the manual you weren't given, but you are in charge of the body manual you get to write as an adult. Healing your relationship with food may be important for you for many reasons. Maybe you want to play with your grandkids more, or you want to deal with chronic health issues that wake you up every hour of the night. Or you may want to show up differently in your workplace or your marriage. Yet, healing your relationship with food is not the best part. The best part is that by organizing your biology, you won't just be able to nourish your body better, aligned with your values, but that you will make space in your life for feeling good, for having positive emotions, for being creative, for being fulfilled and satisfied. All things which are impossible when we're stuck in a cycle of suppressing emotions and getting relief with food. As I have been getting older, I have been reflecting a lot on the stressful years of my life. I have also been reflecting on my commitment to change and to teach my body how to have things that are good, how to be nourished, and how to be relaxed. And as I have been getting older, I'm also thinking about dying. I'm thinking about getting to the end of life with a brain and body filled with positive memories, with gratitude, with kindness, with expansiveness, with goodness, with loving kindness, as opposed to coming to the end of life with a memory that all life was a struggle and that I just survived it. This capacity to make happy memories